What's going on, you guys? I just wanted to make this video because I really wanted to get this out of the way, and I want people to know about my story and just let everyone know about the girl that broke my heart. So, it all starts out, I want to say, back in 2021. Yeah, no, was it 21? No, I think it was 2020. Yeah, it was 2020. We met, I want to say, like in September at my workplace, and um, yeah, we met, and she was actually coming to my store. I worked in the restaurant industry at that time, and so she came to my store and was training to become a manager. Uh, yeah, she was training to become a manager. So I was kind of like assigned to her so that I could teach her and um, like, because she didn't know anything in the kitchen. I worked in the kitchen and she was a bartender. She worked in a totally different location, but she came here to train to become a manager, and then she was going back. But I was going to be the one training her, and we opened together like 2 times, maybe 3 times a week, and it was just me or her and like one or two other people on the side of the store, like for the first, I don't know, 4 hours of our shift. And I just remember we would go. Well, when I seen her, I was instantly attracted to her, and I could tell she was an older lady, and but she was hot, and I was like, okay, I want to make some moves, and I've learned some seduction techniques from a few people that I look up to. So I was kind of like pulling those moves. And we can go more in depth with that, some other time. But I was pulling some moves here and there. I was being slick with it, and I could feel a connection with her. It was like a spiritual connection, like you just know, like you like her and she likes you. You get the butterflies. You know how when you're talking to somebody, you get the butterflies and you get nervous around them, and there was a connection there, and I felt it after, I want to say, like the first week of talking. And it kind of just kept going. The ball kept rolling. We kept seeing each other in the mornings, talking. I was trying to come off as like a non-needy, very secure in myself, independent man, and because she's an older woman. As a matter of fact, she was 36 at the time, and I was 21, and I just turned 21. I'm pretty sure. So, um, yeah. But anyway, so that happened. I lost track of what I was talking about. Oh, her age. Yeah, she was an older woman, so I kind of had to come across a certain way. And I feel like I did that perfect. And she actually invited me to hang out. No, I invited her to hang out, and she couldn't make it because she actually has 5 kids at the time. And so I invited her out, and she was too busy. She said she couldn't make it. She couldn't do it. And one of the values I believe in is, if I invite you out and you don't. Okay, so I learned this. Like if you don't invite, or if you invite somebody out and they can't make it or decline or whatever, then you just leave it at that. Don't ever invite them out again until they invite you out. So that's kind of what I was going off of at the time. So I was kind of waiting for her to make the next move, and she did. She actually invited me. I really don't remember where she wanted us to go, honestly. But oh, I know what it was. She invited me out to a bar called 3070 Sports Bar because she was meeting a friend there to hang out and shit like that. And I went there, and we had a good time. Yeah, we had a good time. At the time, I don't remember if she took me home or if I went home. I don't remember that part. But we had a good time, and like it just started snowballing. We started seeing each other like every week, and like outside of work and whatnot. And then yeah, we hung out like 3 times while she was training at the store outside of work, and she had a boyfriend. Uh, and that's the crazy thing. And her boyfriend would actually drop her off in front of work in the mornings. I would see him, and be like, okay. I felt good about myself, my ego was like feeling great. I'm like, I'm with this chick. She's 20 years older than me. She has 5 kids. She has a car. She has her life put together. And this guy is driving her to work, and she's over here, with me, So like that was a big ego boost. And yeah, so what happened after that was, things escalated sexually, before she even left the store that she was training at, which was my store, So, yeah, we actually had a couple, like, sexual, interactions. One day, she actually paid for a hotel because her boyfriend and her were fighting. So she went and got a hotel next to my place and took her kids with her. But her kids weren't with her. She took her kids and took them to a friend's house or something, and just had the hotel for the night. I guess just in case, or I don't know. But she invited me over to the hotel that she purchased out for that night when they were fighting, and I went over there, and that's a night to remember because that was the first time we slept together. And I want to say about 2 days after that, that's when she left. When she left, it was fucking heartbreaking because you see someone for like 3 weeks on a day-to-day basis almost. It's like, okay, this is gonna be a change. So I had a lot of money saved up. I had probably about $5,000 saved, and so I wasn't worried about money or anything. And what happened was she left and everything, and yeah, she left, and she would text me, and she's like, I miss you, because it's a change. I missed her a lot too after she left. It's not like we couldn't still see each other though, but it was a lot harder. So I made the conscious decision to put my 2 weeks in unless I transferred over to her store. And like that's how much I like this girl. I was like, I don't want to stop seeing you every day. Like that's how I felt, and I was like, I feel like I have to see you every day. And I remember she was okay with that, but I went over there to their store like 2 or 3 times. It's about a 30-minute drive, so it's kind of far. I went over there about 2 to 3 times, back and forth, before my 2 weeks, the 2-week period ended, because I was talking to their manager, trying to talk to my manager about transferring me and shit like that, and it just never worked out, and I was like, what the fuck? So I couldn't not take it back, so because I feel like I could have made it work or figured something out, or like worked over there, or I don't know what I was thinking at the time. 2 weeks came, left, and I didn't have a follow-up job because I thought I would be able to work at her work, so I was like not working for a couple days, and I was like, okay, but my friend got me another job, and he got me another job at a bar, and my life kind of slowly started spiraling downhill at that point. So like he invited me to this job that he was working at, getting paid way more than my original job where I met her and everything. It was like $3 more, and I was gonna get my 40 hours and all that. I took it, and I want to say the first month went fantastic. Life was going good. Life was amazing. I would hang out with my brother every week, older brother. He's about the same age as her. Um, but I just remember, like, it's crazy because my life was so perfect. I had no debt. I had 5 grand saved, hanging out with my brother. I had a girl. She had her own shit, and she was taking. I had a woman, like life was amazing at that time. I had a good job. I was getting free drinks after work. Like we were able to get free drinks after work. Like you couldn't beat it. It was amazing. I would get free shit after every shift because when you work at a bar and people are drinking, have a good time, it's like that environment, and people recognize you. They're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" So free shit was handed to me almost every day. Drugs, alcohol. I mean, not good shit, but something. And it was nice. It was like, okay, all right, I'm balling, I'm making this money, yada yada yada, and it was the crazy part. I want to say about after the first month, things started going downhill, and I don't know where they started going downhill. Like I just remember she was kind of like distancing herself from me, and I don't know, just a lot of bad shit started happening. Cause I would talk to her about my problems, and I kind of like became more feminine as the relationship went on, and it's my fault that it went the direction it did, and I don't know where I went wrong or why or how, but I went wrong somewhere, and I look back and I'm like, damn, if I didn't do this or if I didn't do that, like things would be okay still. I still think of things like that, and it's crazy because after all that, there was one day. This is like the 3rd month after working at that bar. One day, because I would talk to her about problems I had, in those 3 months, like a bunch of shit happening at the bar, and like she didn't want to hear that. She has 5 kids. She didn't want to hear that. But at the time, I wasn't thinking of that. And so I remember one day I called her, in like 2 in the morning, like really fucking late, because because I was really drunk one day. Not to where I was blacked out. I knew what was going on, but because I worked there, I felt like I had power, and it was this weird thing. Cocaine. I did a lot of cocaine, and that also made me feel like I had power. And one night, I was drinking heavily, did some coke, and I remember I was going around to tables and like getting my way. I was like, "Hey, do this. If you don't do this, I'm gonna get your ass kicked out. If you don't do this, I'm gonna do this. Okay? If you don't do this or say this, then I would like control people. It was the weirdest thing, and man, that's crazy because like I feel bad. All those people I was doing that to were like my friends, and I was just in this weird headspace, and I don't know. I don't know what to contribute it to, but I know like I messed up, but at the time I wasn't seeing it that way, and yeah, I was like controlling them in a way. And then this one guy, I remember I was telling him what to do. He was listening, and I felt great. I was like, I have the power here. I own this. I run this show. That's how I felt at the time. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna do that, or something like that. And that pissed me off. I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna get you kicked out then. He's like, all right, go ahead. And I went over and I told the bartenders that were working at the time, I was like, yo, homeboy in the back, he's trying to sell drugs to me. And they all looked at me and they're like, he would never do that. He's a regular here, yada, yada, yada. So it like backfired, and everyone was against me. Everyone, and like people kind of were like listening and watching the conversation unfold. Bartenders were like coming at me, and they're like, what are you talking about? What are you trying to do? And it just became this whole scene. And one of the bartenders came and told me, because I work there, and I would just hang out after work and whatever, or on my off days or something. But one of the bartenders came out and was like, "Yo, Nate, they called the cops on you." And I was like, "Oh shit." So I ran. I left and I ran because I didn't have a car, So I ran. I called homegirl, and I was like telling her about it. I was like, "This happened," and I really wasn't trying to make it seem like I was doing what I was doing. I was lying, and I really shouldn't have done that. I lied a lot, and I really feel guilty for what I did. But yeah, so like I called her and she answered at like 2:30 in the morning, and she was like, "What are you doing?" I'm trying to go to sleep, and I, I was just thinking for myself. I wasn't thinking about her sleeping or whatever, and I was texting her. And I was like, "Yo, they just called the cops on me. The cops are looking for me. Text me in the morning, or I'll text you in the morning, or whatever." Next day comes, right? Like 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning or something. She gives me a call. I pick up, and I was trying to explain to her everything that was going on. And, because of that incident, like them calling the cops, I felt like I couldn't go back to work in a way. Or, like, if I did, like, people would know. And, it just became this whole thing, And it was, like, all kind of, like, fucked. Because I didn't listen to people, but they would always tell me, "Don't shit where you eat. Don't shit where you eat." And I should have took that advice, and it just screwed me over. And yeah, she called me the next day, and she was like, "Oh, so I don't know exactly what she said, but she practically told me like, I can't trust you." Like that's what she said. She's like, "I can't trust you. I gotta look out for my kids and this and that, and you're a shady guy. You're a shady person, and the things you do are very odd and out of the ordinary." And she's like, "I just can't." And I was like, "Okay, I respect that." And that destroyed me. I was hurting all day the next day. I didn't think she was serious, but she was. I went to work that same day, and I remember telling my mom about it, and she was like, "I just want you out of that bar because you've been changing. You've been." I agree with her. "You've been doing a lot of things you shouldn't be doing at this bar. I want you to leave." And I was in debt. Remember when I started, I had like $5,000 saved from that moment till that current day, which is like a span of like 6 or 7 months. I was actually in debt because I would go to the bar after work and I would blow my money, blow my money on her, blow my money on me, and it was horrible. I just remember like looking at my bank account and it was negative, 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 and my mom was like, "If you leave that bar, I'm gonna go ahead and pay for you to get out of debt, but I want you to leave that bar." So I agreed. I was like, "I can't keep doing this. I can't be in this environment." I left, and she did. She helped me pay for all the debt that I had and everything, which is like $1,000, about $1,000. Yeah, about $1,000. And yeah, I just remember everything went to shit afterwards. I never had a follow-up job. Now I'm working, and things are actually turning up from, man, things went so downhill. They spiraled out of control. So I want to say about a month after I left, and we haven't been talking really. She actually wanted to she called me. I was hanging out with my older brother, I was still hanging out with my brother, And I think this was the last time I hung out with my brother and her. Actually, I think this is the last time. And yeah, we were hanging out, and she gives me a call at like 3, maybe 4 in the morning, and she's crying, she's sobbing her eyes out, and I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I was drunk, by the way, and I woke up from, I guess, my blackout, because I blacked out that night, and I woke up to her calling me, and I don't know how or why or whatever. And my brother was with a chick that he was sleeping with at the time, and I had no I don't remember her coming to the place or anything, you know. I'm like, but that wasn't what I was worried about at the time, you know. I just woke up from my blackout, seeing her there and him there. We were watching a movie, and she calls at like 3 in the morning, and I'm like, yo, what's wrong? She's crying. She's like, there's a guy following me. There's a guy following me. Like, okay. So what happened was, yeah, she kept saying, there's a guy following me, there's a guy following me. And I was like, okay. I gave her the phone to my brother. I felt like he can handle the situation better than I could. So, and she knows him, you know, because she came over a couple times, maybe 3 or 4 times, you know. And we did a lot of shit. I have some good memories with her. But he talked to her, and he was like guiding her. I called a Lyft on my phone for them to go get her and bring her back to our place, because my brother didn't want to drive. We've been drinking all fucking night. I was like, okay, it's understandable. She actually comes. We sleep together that night and morning. I think we slept together. We had sex that day or that night or whatever. And this is after she came over and everything. Things started turning up. And then when she left the next day, it was like maybe about 12 or no, it was about 1 or 2 p.m. And yeah, so she left to go to work, and I knew where she worked, you know, because we've been together like for so long, besides that final month, you know. And so like I was like, all right, go to work. I was like, I don't know why you left me, and we started talking about it, and I was like, I want to be with you, you know. She was like, you were just being silly. Let's just talk like we've never talked before, and we'll see where it goes. I was like, okay. She left. She went to work and everything. And oh, I remember what happened. I made some horrible mistakes because I seen that she was talking to other guys on her Facebook, and I was kind of looking, you know, but we weren't together. And I don't know why I did this, but like I seen one dude that she was liking all his photos, and she never did that to me. And that kind of like pissed me off. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, we've been together for this whole time. You never liked a photo, you never did this, you never did that, and you're over here doing this to other dudes? That tipped me over the edge. So I called her, and I was like, hey, there's this guy, and I read his Facebook name or whatever, and I'm like, he just came to my work and was looking for you. And she was like, no one would do that. She's like, I don't even go to your work. And she's like, you're lying to me. And she read right through my lie. And I kept playing, you know, like I kept going with that story, and I should have just been honest. But she knew or something, because she kept calling it out. And speaking of that, there's never mind. But yeah, she called me out, and she kept calling me out, and I kept going with that story. And this is a phone call, and like there's a certain point where she's like, you need to stop doing this. She blew up. First time since we've been talking, you know, since the whole year we've been talking, pretty much. Like she's never gotten mad at me, never gotten angry, blown up, or anything. And she would always do that around me to other people, and I felt good about it. I'm like, damn, this is my girl. And you know, the fact that she's older and shit like that, like, it's a turn on. I'm like, damn, my girl got this shit. And like I don't even have to do anything. But if I will, I will, because I ain't gonna let my girl do that shit alone. But she never needed no backup for any situation we were in together. Uh, and like I felt good to be with her. When we were at the bar, even like she would be sitting there grinding on me, or I'd be like, "Come here, sit on my lap," or some shit like that, and she would listen to me, and that was so hot. Like a woman that listens to you, no talk back or anything, like it's the best feeling ever. And I was like 21. She was like 20 years older than me. Like think of that. Like it was amazing. Um, but yeah, she blew up on me, and I remember like I was like, okay, whatever. Like I wasn't gonna fight with her. I'm not gonna argue back. Like I don't got time for that shit. So I just let her fucking yell at me, and like she said two words that like made me wanna do something. Right? She said, "You're a psycho. You're a maniac. You're demented." Um, those words are just trigger words for me. And it's like I'm like, I'm not crazy. Like, I get the things I do may be crazy, but I'm not crazy. Stop calling me psycho. Stop calling me demented. Like, it's just so disrespectful over the phone and everything. I was like, can I talk? Can I explain? And she's like, no, shut the fuck up. Yada, yada, yada. I was like, alright, whatever. And she was like, he's like, yeah, so she called me those things, and in my head, I'm like, alright, I'm gonna show you crazy. I'm gonna show you psycho. I'm gonna show you demented. In my head, I said that. I didn't say that to her, but like we ended that night on a fucking horrible note. Because I was doing drugs that night too, I think. And like that's what I'm saying. Like I did a bunch of dumb shit, and I don't even know why I did the things I did, and like I fucked myself. Like I caused our relationship to go this direction. I realized that. I feel really fucking bad. It hurts. It still hurts. I actually got a tattoo. Actually, let me finish the story and I'll show you. But yeah, I remember she called me those things, and I was like, I'll show you. So I wanted her to submit to me to the point of like asking me for help. Like, Nate, like, can you make all these bad things stop happening to me? Can you do this? Like, that's what I wanted her to be like. So, hold on. Yeah, that's what I wanted her to be like. I heard something, so I was like listening. It's like just things I was coming up with, like rubbing, or putting sticky notes all over her car, doing this or that. Yeah, just small things, maybe putting something in the gas tank, or, just things to kind of like mess with her head, and like, who would have done this, or why, or, I just wanted to play with her head, and it was very wrong of me to do that, but I remember that very vividly, and I would go on like trying to find ways to, scare people or make them feel, like they can't be comfortable, and I guess it is kind of like bad. I was thinking that way, but like she hurt me so much, like because 2 days prior to that, or a day or whatever it was, we were sleeping together in my brother's, house. We were sleeping together, and she blew up on me, disrespected me on that phone call, and it's like, well, a day ago we were just sleeping together, and you're over here like yelling at me. It was just like, that hurt. I don't know why it did, but it hurt at the time, and it just set me off. And one day I went over to her work just to kind of watch her and see because I admit I was over the top with it, and I really shouldn't have done these things, but like I would just watch and kind of just get an idea of her routine and shit like that, and yeah, So she caught me one day in front of her work, and she called the cops, and I was scared shitless when she seen me and picked up that phone to call the cops, because I knew what her intentions were. I knew it. I fucking backed out of the parking lot because we made eye contact. Like I was in the driver's seat and the front of her store is like right, like maybe 30 feet in front of me, 40 feet, you know, and we made eye contact. And I fucking backed out as fast as I could because I was so scared. I was fucking shitting bricks. I was like, what the fuck? She caught me, dude. And, but I was backing out. I fucking floored it backwards. I rammed into a car behind me, like full fucking force, because I slammed it. I wasn't even paying attention. I fucking slammed it, hit the car behind me, and it was parked. No one was in it though. And I fucking drove off. I drove home as fast as I could. Fast as I could. No questions asked. Yeah, and I remember making it home, and the cops were waiting there for me. And I fucked up. I just seen them. As soon as I parked, they turned their lights on and shit. And I didn't even see them till I got in the parking lot at home. They fucking cuffed me, took me to jail that night, and she put a restraining order against me, and things have never been the same since. My life kind of like went shit after that. She, like, this girl that I loved near and dear to my heart, and I was fighting for in some ways, and like, you know, like the things I was doing, like watching her and shit like that, it wasn't because I wanted to hurt her. It was because I wanted her to come back to me. And maybe I was going about it the wrong way, but like I wanted her, you know. And maybe there came a point of some vengeance, but it was like I loved the girl, you know. I loved her a lot. I really did. But I got locked up because of her. And I always think back, I'm like, damn, this girl that I slept with a few days ago put me behind bars. You know, if I would have never met her, or if, you know, like, my life would be completely different. I would have never went to jail. I wouldn't, you know, like, I let my emotions run me, and it's just a shit situation. Because it's like, it was never meant to be like that. Started out all happy, me training her, and now I'm in cuffs like 9-10 months later, you know, like because of her. You know, like that's just the hardest concept. That's a hard fucking concept to understand. Is like this girl that you near and dear love, like everything was going perfect, and now look at it, you know, like. Anyways, I'm still fighting a case. Haven't been charged yet. They're trying to charge me with stalking, fleeing, eluding, and criminal mischief, and something else. All felonies. So it's like, fucked me. And that's the story. I haven't talked to her or seen her since. And this is September of 2021. That was the last time. So, like, we've been together for a full 12 months. September of 2021 was the last time I've seen her, talked to her, or anything. It's 2022 now of May. You know, so it's been some time, and I'm over it now. But I'm, you know, like, I have to pay fucking legal fees. I have to do, there's just so much shit I have to go through now. And it fucking sucks. But I decided to get a tattoo after they let me go from jail, to resemble that. I will never fall in love again like that, and I will never act the same way. And, you know, I learned from it a lot. I did. I have to fucking deal with that shit every day. Because I have a GPS. I have an ankle monitor. Yeah, I have an ankle monitor, just so you guys know. I would show you, but yeah, I have an ankle monitor now, and like it's a reminder every day, like you know, I have this on my ankle because of this girl, and like it's just you can't leave your past because you're reminded of it every fucking day. So it's kind of shitty. It's like I just want to move on with my life. I don't care anymore, and like I just want to move on with my life. Okay, I forget her. I don't care anymore. I'm done talking to her, and like, but I can't be done with it now. I have to deal with this shit for another 3 years. So it is what it is. But I got a tattoo after I got out to resemble that, and it's supposed to be because I heard this rap song, and he's like, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and that gave me an idea of getting a heart. It's supposed to be like a heart, like a broken heart, and it's gonna be like, you see how it's all chained up? It's supposed to be um, like a resemblance of jail, and the love that we had, and like it's a broken heart with chains around it, and it's supposed to be like chains around my neck, like I'm wearing my heart around my neck. That's the idea. So I'll never forget that fucking time because I'm gonna wear my heart on my neck now. My heart was fucking destroyed in a million pieces, and my life went to shit because of that relationship. Yeah, I could have done a lot of things different, but so she. It's not all my fault. There's a lot of things that, she could have done, differently. Like that night we were fighting, I was trying to calm her down. I wasn't even arguing back, honestly. I really wasn't arguing back. I was kind of just taking it from her. I was letting her fucking talk shit and do whatever. And just little things like that. Like I was calm, and I was like, let's just talk, let's have a conversation like adults, and work this out. And she was just talking shit, didn't want to hear me, just small things. It's like, come on, like we really have to fight right now. That's how it felt. But that's it. The girl that broke my heart. We can get into her name one day, but I want to beat my case or fight it for now and get over with it before I say anything or do anything. Hope you guys stay safe. Don't do what I did, and don't let your emotions control you. That's the biggest thing. Is I let my emotions run me, and it got the best of me. And now I gotta be humble. I gotta humble myself, and I'm way more humble than I was, but that shit fucked my life up. And, truly it did. But maybe it was for the better. It was a blessing in disguise, maybe. We'll see. I'm kind of just looking, I just want you guys to know that I am gonna be a better human being for society and grow from this. And we're only gonna get better. We're only going to move up in the world. We can't go back down, right? So let's do this shit. Thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed my story, and stay safe.